applicable legislation and how it's tried to address this gap, but clearly it hasn't done so enough because there still is a gap. There's still something missing, but this is what's been done so far. So first of all, the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 worked to prohibit discrimination in the workplace, and specifically this is for for federally sponsored organizations. So that would include schools, which my project was affected by, so that's one thing that I want to point out, because like public schools are federally funded, so that affects schools. And this next one, Americans with Disabilities Act, is commonly abbreviated ADA, and it prohibits discrimination in employment. And so specifically like in a hiring process, if someone is qualified for a job, they should get that job, right? Even if that requires accommodations, you have to do some things, they should still get that job. You should make those accommodations. So I have the picture over there of some different disability like accommodation symbols. So, if they need interpreting or closed captioning or a TTY or, any of these things that could be accommodated, they should get those, and that shouldn't prevent hiring at all. They're qualified and should get that job. ADA also worked with physical access, so things like, ramps, the doors that, like automatic doors, those kind of things that just allow physical accessibility, ramps, curb cutouts, those kind of things allowed physical accessibility for individuals to get into public spaces as well. Okay, then we have Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 2004, and I want to point out this quote that is actually within the Act. I want to read it to you because I'm going to come back to this quote throughout the presentation, and I think it's actually really important for my topic. So it says, based on the individual child's needs, taking into account the child's strengths, preferences, and interests. So it should be based on the child, right? It should be based on what the student is good at, on their strengths. So I'm going to come back to this. Just wanted to point it out now that it's in this Act. And then another point is that it lays out the free and appropriate public education. And actually my last big bullet on this slide is the Endrew case, which actually it was just a few years ago, and it adjusted the implications of what FAPE means. What does that actually mean? And so in this case, they decided that a student must make more than de minimis progress. So that means like a student needs to make more than minimal progress. And if you think about it, someone who's making just minimal progress, they could just be like learning somewhere else, like at home. The school doesn't have to do anything for a student to necessarily be making minimal progress. So that's not enough. So we need to be making ambitious goals, and the student needs to make ambitious progress. So part of my research has been in like how can we help students to make that ambitious progress, and what does that really mean? And then moving back up to IDEA, we have transition planning must start before the age 16. So this is the latest that it could possibly happen, right? But in many states, like Pennsylvania, there's other state laws that require it earlier. So in Pennsylvania, it's age 14. Some other states have that as well. But the latest it could possibly be would be age 16.
We are